Now is complete. You said that, right? Now is complete. Now is total. Now is all that there is. Okay? Can you be aware of now?
No. I mean, there's a double separation. There's the you and the aware of.
Yeah.
So you're twice removed.
Yeah. But feel this, please. Feel.
There's a half-second leg there.
Half-second leg?
Leg.
Leg. Yeah, half-second leg. By the way, I find you so funny. Okay, so now is total, it's complete, right? So who's going to be aware of now? Who is there to be aware of now? Feel it, please.
Nobody.
Nobody. Because you are now. When you speak with love, it is now speaking. You see? When you speak with truth, it is the truth speaking. Yeah.
But isn't that the indefinable thing that you're calling when you say put your attention on attention? Put your attention on awareness. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah, you see, you can put your attention on attention because there is the ability to self-recognize. But in order to do that, automatically you go like this. You become still. Try it. If I say to you, pay attention to a book. I looked at the book. Pay attention to Burt. Look at Burt. Pay attention on attention. All of a sudden you become still. There is no effort. You want to feel it. It brings you back to the heart. Do you understand? Yeah. So there is there's no separation. There is that pull. You see? Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's paying attention to the love. Just that. Just that feeling.
It is that feeling, but it is not an emotion, just that feeling, knowing of completion. Yeah. Yeah.
And the word presence is...
It's all inclusive. Yeah, the word presence really is it. That's what we realize. The presence, now and presence are one and the same. Yeah. So in truth, you're not aware of now. You are now. If you're reading a book and you become enthralled with the book, even though it's a story, but you are totally involved in it, you don't say, I am now reading and becoming involved. Your involvement takes you away, you see, automatically. So what this means is, I'm not saying that now is an activity. What I'm saying is that when you are completely now, completely, 100% attention, there is no you in it who can be aware of something, who can be separate from it.
Just the oneness.
Just as the oneness. But the tricky part here is, play on words, and this Sylvia addressed, is that you can say, I am aware right now. I am awareness. And all that there is just awareness. Therefore, I can be aware that I am awareness of itself, like attention on attention. But the moment you do that, there is a stillness. And there is nothing that is being done. Sometimes we try to figure it out, but then that has to stop because the mind can't figure it out. And there is a stopping. There is a silence, there is a stillness there, you see? And you find nothing is happening. You have entered the now. That's what entering the now incidentally really means. There is no one who's aware of the now. There's only now doing everything. Okay? So when a master speaks, there's no one speaking. Just the now. And if anybody listens, their now awakens so that it hears that the words is being spoken is really their own heart. And they recognize it, it resonates, and it says, yeah, I know all this, I can feel it. You see? Because you're feeling your own now, which of course now is all-encompassing, there's only one now. What is a belief? Oh, the first one is realization a pleasant experience or a shock? We already discussed that. Okay? You know, what do you mean by shock? Okay, did you ever see the movie Wizard of Oz? Okay, that reminds me of. Now, there's the big wizard, you see, and they wanted to see this wizard. You know, he has a booming voice and he's got all the wisdom. And if they meet the wizard, the lion, who's a cowardly lion, becomes courageous, you know, and the scarecrow becomes, what does he become? Brain. He has a brain, right. And my goodness, the wizard is going to give us all these things. So they travel this road to the Wizard of Oz, you see. And they're hoping that the Wizard of Oz is a magical godlike creature who's going to give them this. And as they go, they listen to this booming voice, you see. And they get closer and closer, and finally they see a meek little man talking on a mic. And they get a shock. What I thought was God is just a meek little man who's afraid of himself, appearing as if he's somebody. And that shock is the realization. Now, after you've seen that, can you ever forget it? Can you ever think of the wizard as being some superhuman? No. You know, now you know the truth. Okay? Well, that's what realization is. In the same way, you think you are somebody special, you think you're better than others, sometimes you think you're worse than others, you begin to play this game, I'm not good enough, or I am too good. All these games, and one day you have a shock, there's no you at all. It's all been a lie. And wow, I mean, that's a slap on the face, but that shock can be so great that the ego just drops from then on. You see, or I get so many people, you know, clients, they come and they say, and I'll say, well, this is what we have to do, you know, because knowing your true state is what's important for healing. And they say, well, I know, they say. The first thing I have to say is, if you did know, what are you doing here? If you did know, you'd be living it. You see? So the first thing I want them to hear is, I don't know anything. I really don't know. Well, the moment you admit that you don't know, which of course is a shock to the ego, that very shock opens you up. You see? My first shock was this, how ignorant I was. And I thought I knew something, because I had read and studied so much. So these are how it comes, you see? We have that shock to the system, and the shock never leaves you. Realization of a pleasant nature, it will leave you. Some people say, oh, I had a beautiful realization, but how come I'm not living from it? Because it was pleasant. It didn't shook you up. You see? But realization can be tremendously shocking. Sometimes it happens to people who are about to die, you know, for a terminal illness. Now I'm going to be no more. And there's that shock. But what if at that moment they really go into and accept that? Because they have to face it one way or the other. They can wake up before they actually die. You see? And they realize their eternal nature, that nothing is happening. So this is the being and the becoming. That the moment the becoming is no longer a movement that is real, but it's coming from being. That small center that makes the spokes, a wheel, turn and turn and turn, appear as if something is happening. Just like the earth going around the sun, creating calendar years, biological years, chronological years, and psychological time, but nothing is actually happening. You are eternal. You're always here. You're always now, and never bored. Now some people says, but if I know I'm eternally now, my God, that's boring. Boring is not a question, because boredom only exists in ego. The now is always fresh and it's always new. How can the mind understand that?